Commence primary ignition.
Hello and welcome to episode 162 of The Usual Podcast, a podcast where we discuss all things geek and pop culture. I'm your host, Marshall, and with me, as always, back in the studio is my co-host, Will. What's up, buddy?
God, we're back in the studio. It's so weird, even though we've been in the same town now for like 6 months. But we never see each other, and we live like a mile and a half away.
It's super weird, I know. We also got to get a different setup to where I can look right at you, so
I know,
not off
right?
to the side. But anyway, that side, we're here, dude.
How did I just realize you have a new chair in your room?
Oh, I call it the Cadillac.
Dude, seriously, how long have you had this?
I got it for Christmas. It's got Bluetooth.
That shows how long it's been since I've been in your home.
It's got a leg rest. It's amazing. It's pretty much the Cadillac of all chairs.
Okay, I'm looking at it. It's got a handle on the side to recline.
Oh, dude. I'm reclining. I got a foot thing that comes out the bottom.
Okay, it's either the ultimate gaming chair or the ultimate masturbation chair.
It's the ultimate. I usually fall asleep in this chair. Anyway, so where are we at, dude? What are we doing?
Oh, well, we're back.
We are back. We're back live, too, which is super weird.
And for the third time this year, we're going to try a new format.
Oh, for God's sake.
Because
First time this year. We have not recorded this year yet.
Thank you. First time this calendar year.
Mm-hmm.
We just we realized that first of all, I've got a new job.
Yeah.
I am teaching now.
And now he knows my struggles.
Yes, I know your struggles, and I feel for the future of America.
Oh, don't
Because
it's best not to think about that.
If I'm their teacher, then what does that say?
It says you don't want to overanalyze that, buddy.
Thank you. I don't want to get into that self-actualization, but we are we're just constantly busy. So we realized that we cannot handle the hour and a half to 2 hour long podcast anymore.
Nope.
So I'm going to do the little intro since you haven't taken the hint to read it. So I'm going to say,
I thought you were supposed to read it.
no, we're back and better than ever, but now we're going to be off the cuff and on the sauce.
Yeah.
So pull out your own draft of your own frosty beverages. We spend half the time getting twice the buzz and give our irreverent take on this week's biggest pop culture news.
I'm all right with it. I don't know if I could have said it, but
That was definitely written in my voice.
no, for sure. And that's why I thought you were going to say it. But anyway,
All right, so what is our frosty beverages this week? What do you have in my friend?
dude, I'm drinking my old standby. And honestly, it's funny because we were at dinner before this and I had a really terrible day.
You did. You had a pretty bad day.
And this was one of my favorite old standbys. I don't know if I've done on this show.
You have.
I have. It's Sierra Nevada Hazy Little Thing IPA.
Hazy little thing, cola.
It's a tall can. I also may or may not have had a couple margaritas at the Mexican restaurant we were at. And I'm having a nice time. My terrible day is getting a little better.
I'm a little loopy from my couple of Diet Cokes that I had with my burrito earlier, but I am enjoying the beautiful Blue Moon Belgian White Ale.
Nice.
Which is really funny because actually I was having a Fast and Furious marathon over the weekend.
Oh, dude, you didn't invite me.
Like you would have come over anyways. Although I have a new apartment too. God, so much news going on in this episode.
Things have changed.
And
the first comment in there, of course, is Matt. What's up, buddy?
6 hour podcast are a riot. Awesome. I think we could do it. We could do it.
We could, but we won't.
We won't. But no, I was just Mr. Nobody, played by Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
Swears by the Belgian ales.
All right.
And so I'm drinking that in honor of Kurt Russell.
Nice, dude. All right. Well, Kurt Russell. Cheers. Hey, man. So,
cheers. So basically, this new format we're doing, we're going to try to cut it in half. We're going to have like maybe half-hour long episodes, and we're really only going to not really do deep dives, but we're just going to do, let's say, glancing blows on one or two of the biggest talks of biggest things of the week. And so this week we chose we're going to talk about the Project Lazarus announcement.
Yeah.
Was it Lazarus? No, Luminous. Project Luminous announcement of the High Republic in the Star Wars publishing empire. And then we're also going to talk a little bit about Bob Iger stepping down as CEO of Disney.
And that last part gets me a little bit because with the launch of Disney Plus and everything, I don't know if we're launching into this or if we're going into it right now.
Well, we really don't have any. So yeah, do you want to do the intro where they can find us and stuff? Seriously, if you're listening to this right now at episode 162, you know where to find us.
I've been debating whether or not I want to do that in the beginning and the end if it's shorter, but
Well, let's just do it at the end.
what does Matt think?
Screw it. Matt, what do you think?
Okay, one more
Well,
last
Matt
time.
wants a 6-hour-long episode.
One last time. Before we get started, if you have comments or questions, you can find us at theusualpodcast.com. Email us at theusualpodcast@gmail.com. And we're on Facebook, Google+, Pinterest, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, and all the things. Like us, share us on all the social medias. I'm at Darth Pops on Twitter, and Will is at I'm Will Griggs. And please give us a 5-star rating on any of your podcatchers, iTunes, and all that stuff because, it's been a while, but we're still here. So
All right, well,
thanks to everybody who does that.
All right, well, I'm going to let you catch this answer from Crazy Uncle Gaming in our chat room, asking, how often do you broadcast?
Oh, well, this is the first. That's freaking hilarious. Did I say Google Plus? I told you I'm going to cut it anyway. Matt, here's the thing. That intro we've had for
like 5.5 years?
At least 4.
At least 4.
And things have changed. And I threw it in there for old time's sake. I'm going to cut it out in the main show. But
the funny thing is, it actually says Google Play. In the script, it says Google Play, but you said Google Plus.
Did I?
You did.
Well, I quit
because we did change it like 2.5 years ago when they did get rid of Google Plus.
That's true. How often do we broadcast? Well, we SWTOR Refer-a-friend, what's up?
Yeah, SWTOR.
We broadcast once a month minimum. Up until the last 3 months, we have not done a single show.
Okay, well, let's say for about 4.5 years, we did almost weekly.
Yeah.
And then I lost my job and I hit the road for about a year. And so we didn't broadcast for about a year.
Yeah.
Then we got back together and we've done, I think, 2 shows in the last 6 months.
I was still broadcasting, but I had.
Right, but you're doing a different
show.
show. Yeah. Well, yeah, you had a different partner, which, by the way, where the heck is Skeen?
I don't know. But I had people filling in, but
right, had people filling in. So, anyways, we're gonna really try to do this at least once a month now. Hopefully, more often.
Yeah,
because I really miss being behind the mic with you, my friend.
Same. And the boys are back in town, indeed, SWTOR, and it's lovely to have you in our chat room. Thanks for joining us. So let's circle back because the old intro was a fail. So I'm gonna 86 that in the edit. But let's talk about Bob Iger first.
Yeah, let's talk Bob Iger first. Well, honestly, for those of us that follow Disney, which, by the way, if you also want to follow my Disney stuff, you can just follow me at Daily Dose of Disney on any of the social medias. I do daily updates about Disney stuff. But the big thing about Bob Iger is that he's announced for a while that he was going to be stepping down at the end of 2021.
Yeah.
Overall from Disney, like going to retire. But I think it just came as with the launch of Disney Plus being successful, more successful than I think most people expected. He just felt it was the right time that he could step down. All he did was step down as CEO. He's still running the company. He's just not the executive officer. So what that means is he's still in creative control of its destiny, but he's not running the day-to-day stuff.
I think that's better for him.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he's been doing this he took over from Michael Eisner almost 20 years ago. And think about all the stuff that Bob Iger has done since he took over.
Yeah.
Shanghai, Korea, Hong Kong, expanded Disney, Paris, Animal Kingdom, not Animal Kingdom, that was done before he got there, but Disney Plus, bought Marvel, bought Pixar, bought Lucasfilm.
Yep.
Launched the biggest movie of all time, the biggest movie franchise of all time.
Right.
Garnered numerous awards.
And then the Fox acquisition.
I mean, what hasn't this guy done for the company? And not bad considering he was an acquisition himself. He was originally an ABC guy.
Right.
That when Disney bought ABC in 2003, he came over with that merger. And then he went swiftly up through the ranks and took over from Eisner. Shadek, on the other hand, is coming from the parks. So he is most recently chairman of Disney Parks.
Yeah.
So he's in charge of all the parks, and now he's chief executive officer.
So I don't know. What does this mean for the Disney company? I don't think a whole lot.
Not immediately, no. Because he's still the creative control of the company. So, I mean, we still have... why am I drawing a blank on head of Marvel right now? Kevin Feige. Feige still reports to him, directly to him. Kathleen Kennedy from Lucasfilm still directly reports to him. I was going to say Lasseter, but Lasseter is no longer running Pixar. But head of Pixar still directly reports to him, right? Nominally, they report to Shadek just because he's in charge, but the creative control is still in Iger's hands.
And I can't, as much as I love Matt, I'm gonna gloss over what he just said. But the one
Matt's a professional friendly troll.
And I love Matt, but my point is, and I'm going to respond to the chat in this way because our last show should have been our reaction to The Rise of Skywalker.
Right. But we didn't have time.
We didn't have time. We didn't do it. And now it's a little after the fact. So we are going to circle back to that at some point. I would like to do, something around.
Oh,
that.
Absolutely.
Once it maybe hits video.
Yeah, well, it's going to be hitting digital here in the next few weeks.
Yeah.
Actually, I want to say it's next week or
I
the
think
week
it's
after.
soon. Yeah.
So we'll do a little 15-minute thing if we need to sometime later.
And we will do it. We will talk about it. I know it's divisive. I understand where people are coming from on some level, but at the same time, I'm a Star Wars fan. I like the movie. I had a good time. We went. It was pretty much your birthday. We did what we always do.
Exactly.
And it was amazing. So
yeah.
I'm going to leave it at that for now. And, all right, well, trolls can rant. But
well, let's circle back to the Disney thing really quick for short term. It's not really going to do anything because whenever we are dealing with a company of this size, their game plan is mapped out for at least half a decade. Mm-hmm. They'll make changes here or there depending on if you have a flop like Immortals, right? They've definitely got to change stuff with that. But especially with the release of, again, Galaxy's Edge is another thing that he's done.
Right.
I mean, and honestly, that was under Shadek too. So Mutual, that's probably why Shadek got the nod, is because of how well Galaxy's Edge is done.
And it has done well, despite the issues they've had with Rise of the Resistance and stuff like that. It has been good. And I know that part of that, the rhetoric around that is we wish, I know from the fan side and the people that are going to the park are like, they're not recognizing things. So the part of the, I guess, I don't want to say like backlash on it, but it has to do with the fact that they decided to go with an unknown Star Wars, not unknown, but like, how do I want to say it?
It's not like
the new Star Wars.
Right. It's not like they just said, okay, we're going to put this on Tatooine.
Right. And
they created a new planet.
Right. And so people, you're not a troll, Matt. We're messing with you.
I said friendly troll.
Friendly troll. So, but the idea is that people are like, well, I don't recognize stuff. But at the same time, if you're keeping up with everything, it's supposed to be an immersive Star Wars world. And I think they really did a good job with that from what I understand. Although I haven't been there yet, I know I'm sad.
Galaxy's Edge is absolutely immersive. It's fantastic. I've been to the one at Disneyland.
Yeah.
I'll be going to Disney World in December. So anybody who wants to meet up can probably meet up with me there. I'll be there for a week and a half. Well, a little over a week.
Yeah.
Definitely going to be hitting Rise of the Resistance. It had not opened up when I went to Disneyland Galaxy's Edge because actually it was their opening week.
Well, and the last time I went was for about almost a little more than a year ago. I went last April for my 40th birthday. Met you down there, and it was right before.
We had so much fun bowling. That was so much fun.
Dude, it was great. Anyway, we're
so
ranting.
Galaxy's Edge is really good. It is really worth the effort of going. I really can't wait to see Rise of the Resistance. But that's the whole other thing. You got to remember that they're going to be opening up their completely immersive hotel at Disney World, and that's going to be open up, I want to say, 2022 or 2023. Like so Iger's still kind of overseeing that.
And that's kind of crazy. The concept behind that is it's almost like an immersive hotel that acts like a interstellar cruise.
Yeah, it is. It's acting like it's a cruiser. So it's really going to be interesting.
I know, right? So Teresa, I want to go to the hotel so bad. The problem is
it's so expensive,
and it's also very small.
Yeah, I want to say it's going to be $7,000 for a weekend or something.
But it's also
like that.
not even going to be. It's not even 200 rooms, from what I understand.
No,
it's super small.
But I mean, all the windows are VR. It's ridiculous, right? So I mean, yeah, of course, I'm going to try to save money and do it. I mean, heck, I'm spending like $2,000 on a 7-day trip to Disney World in December.
Right.
But yeah, so we have that. We not only have that, but we've got the relaunch of Indiana. Well, not relaunch, the continuation of Indiana Jones coming in the next couple of years. We've got Phase 4 of Marvel starting. First thing post Avengers. The second wave of stuff coming on Disney Plus,
right? With
Mandalorian season 2, WandaVision, all that fun stuff coming out. There's still so much stuff,
right? And I'd be remiss if since there's our people I know and love in the chat room. Big shout out to Matt and SWTOR, but our SWTOR community. I still see you. I haven't been playing the game that much the last few months, obviously, but I see all the awesome things you guys are doing, and a big shout out to Eric Musco. He's having a baby soon. SWTOR Teresa, you do amazing work for the community, and we haven't forgot about SWTOR, obviously. And I hope to see all of you in San Diego Comic-Con. We hope we
were talking about that today. We're trying.
Yeah, it's a bit of a mess this year. So
it is a little bit of a mess, but we definitely want to get Puck 5 going. At least as a meetup. Maybe we won't record it, but at least a meetup.
No, we got to do a meetup if we're going to be down there. It's overlapping with something big I have going on this year, so I may have to cut it short, but I do hope to be down there for at least a few days.
Absolutely. So. Okay.
God, we squeezed a lot in the first 10 minutes of this madness.
Absolutely, because we talk fast and we are mellow and interesting as Crazy Uncle Gaming.
I'm not sure if he's a real person. But.
No, I just love that we can at least get new bots, if not new actual listeners.
I like how mellow
at episode 162.
I like it.
Yeah, so it's...
What's up, Steve?
Hey, my brother is in the house. My actual brother is in the house. Yeah, so this is it is wonderful that the Iger's stepping down before massive heart attacks will take him, because in that corporate atmosphere, it's going to happen, right? And so I like how passionate he still is about it.
He's been doing it a long time.
He's been doing it a long time, so well too. So let's swing over to the Star Wars side of it.
Yeah,
we had a long-term, let's say long gestating project announcement. It was Project Luminous that's been kind of in the wind for a long time, and they finally said, here it is, all of a sudden. And we had a nice little trailer announcement for a publication side of. So we're talking about Del Rey, all the DK Junior books, all those stuff. It's really when they have a new movie coming out and they do the.
Well, here's the thing. So they have like a canon launch. So like they'll say like, okay, here's all the next series of books, kids books, young adult.
Right. Usually it's like 20 titles, and it usually builds up to a movie
and all that stuff, and it leads up to something. But this is all the publication announcement. I'm actually really excited about this. There was some speculation on where they were going to go with
the timeline.
Going forward. I mean, we're done with the Skywalker Skyline. I almost said the Skywalker saga. So where do we go from here? So what was announced, and this was just a few days ago.
Do we want to play the trailer?
Yeah, I'm going to play the trailer. Okay. It's Star Wars: The High Republic, and this is the announcement trailer. And if all my tech works, we will play the trailer. Hold, please, everybody.
Can we at least get a thumbs up from the audience if the audio plays correctly?
Yeah, that'd be nice. Thanks. Sorry, it's been a while.
You're
seeing this live, folks. The awesome that is my technological wherewithal. Here we go.
Okay, really quick before we do, I do want to talk.
To press play.
I do. I'm giving you a shout out here, man.
Yeah.
Marshall's tech wizardry has gotten so much better over the last 5 years that we've been doing this crappy show, because he's, first of all, he does another great podcast called Writing Excuses. So just keep writing. Writing Excuses is Sanderson.
Yeah.
Just Keep Writing, which he does with Nick Bright. So please go listen to that podcast. But the Writing Excuses cruise that he goes on every year has now funded him.
Yeah.
And he's doing audio work. He actually, let's just say, he got invited to Sanderson's place in Utah. And I'm like, douchebag.
Well, I didn't tell anybody that, but here we are. So that's live. That's a little snippet for you guys. One podcast every 6 months. Yeah. So, Just Keep Writing I do, but I produce and host both these shows, and I really love what I do, and I'm lucky enough to be able to teach students to do this stuff as well with my current job at the high school. So I'm having a lot of fun. I'm getting better. So those of you that saw me fumble through that, and hopefully it works out. But let's watch this trailer, and then we'll talk about the High Republic. Yes?
Cool.
Thanks for being nice to me, buddy.
All right, let's talk about a couple things first. I'll agree with Matt and the chat room that Claudia Gray's a fantastic writer.
Absolutely.
At the forefront of current Star Wars writing. She's just great.
I'm also reading a novel right now by Daniel Jose Older, who wrote one of the features on there. I think it was Last Shot, I believe. I haven't read it yet. It's a phenomenal urban fantasy series I'm reading right now. But there's some crazy good writers in that room, and I'm super jealous. They're all Skywalker fans trying to figure this out.
I know, right? Okay, so I have two basic things I want to talk about. One is the timeline. It's close enough to Skywalker, but far enough away that they can tie in very few characters.
Yeah.
So let's just talk about it. It's 200 years before Battle of Yavin. Roughly, they're kind of giving us as a rough timeline.
Sure.
Who's alive? Yoda, Maz
Chewie?
Kanata, Chewie.
Yeah.
Those are three absolutes.
Mm-hmm.
We could see the birth of Darth Plagueis, because he was theoretically born somewhere between 175 and 130 BY.
Yeah.
We're absolutely going to be able to see Plagueis' master.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be interesting. I can't, drawing a blank on his name offhand. So that's the interesting thing is it's far enough away that most of the characters we know and love are not available, but close enough where the long-lived characters like Yoda and Maz Kanata are available.
Well, and also, what they do will ripple into what happens later, which we've already seen.
Exactly. So that'll be kind of cool because there's going to be some writers about that. The other thing I find interesting, I didn't notice this the first time, is when it was showing the publishing group things that are going to be up there, it included IDW.
Yeah.
Which is basically the Disney arm of because there's some Marvel Disney stuff like the Big Thunder Mountain, the Princess Leia comic. They do. Not Princess Leia. Haunted Mansion.
Yeah.
They did some stuff, but they're like the Disney and Friends and the Uncle Scrooge. All that stuff gets released through IDW.
Tenebrous.
Thank you, Tenebrous. Yes. So those are. It's really interesting how they're going to weave that in.
Yeah.
Are they going to bring in Disney? They can't bring Disney characters into Lucasfilm, but they could gear something towards kids.
Well, and they will, and I know they will. Given that they 100% will.
Oh,
and
absolutely,
and that's the thing.
But I think it's interesting that they're interweaving IDW and not just Marvel.
Right. So what am I excited about? I love seeing a writer's room like that, and
as soon as that writer's room popped up, Marshall leaned over to me and he goes, "I wish I could be in that room."
I was like, "Could you imagine?" I was like, "But as a writer and as someone who is part of a couple of writing communities, I love the idea of being able to sit down and create a universe or create a world within a world or have a starting point and say, okay, now what? You know
exactly.
what I mean? And they do this with TV shows and movie series all the time. But being able to do this with Star Wars, it's huge.
Exactly.
And I think this is going to be pretty cool. Apparently I have hiccups. So we don't have much more outside of that they're doing stuff and there will be books.
Exactly. And we don't have any information.
And we know some of the
the people involved.
And we know some of the people involved. And
like
we know
Claudia Gray.
And I think that's the important thing is that we have these authors that have already done that first run of the big canon series that started when the new canon started, obviously, right? And they're coming back and they're bringing these people back and they're bringing new people in and they're sorting this out.
One thing I think is that it just puts it into safer hands is, you saw right there that Pablo Hidalgo's overseeing the whole thing. Yeah. Not necessarily as a creative arm, but as a continuity director. Because he's the Datacron holder right now. Right. So he is the end all be all of information. And as long as he's overseeing it, it's going to work out. But
the interconnectivity too within what they're doing on Disney Plus, the Clone Wars is back.
Exactly.
So you have these other things that are other moving parts in the universe that are going to come into play in really cool ways. And I'm excited to see what happens.
And there still hasn't been a clear announcement of what Rian Johnson's trilogy is going to be like.
Yeah. And we also know some of the stuff coming to Disney Plus. We're going to have an Obi-Wan thing. We're going to have, and so I'm really hoping that.
Yeah, we still have the Cassian Andor series.
Right. And these are all pre, Skywalker-ish. You know what I mean?
Right. What I think would be fantastic is, I don't know if you remember years ago when Lucas still ran the show, he wanted to do a live action 1 hour TV show a la Mandalorian, but about the underworld.
Yeah.
And so I think this would be perfect if they're talking about the Nile. How awesome would it be to have an 8 episode limited run introducing the Nile Underground?
Yeah.
That would be a perfect tie-in for Disney Plus.
Absolutely. So, man, I don't know. Like I say, as a writer, as someone who tries to consume as much of this as possible, I've fallen off recently because I've been trying to consume too many audiobooks in a short amount of time. I love the Star Wars stuff, some more than others, obviously, but I have a lot of hope for what can come out of this, because if you think about what happened, we have Rebels and Clone Wars and these kind of things, like what animated series can come out of
Exactly.
what these authors create. And when you're an author and you're in charge of a universe, what you spur is you have a hand in that. And
Yes.
and I think that's something huge to keep in mind. So anyway, I don't know, man. So what else do we got? We got anything from the chat? Do we want to close up? Where are we at?
Matt wants the 1313 show.
Well, we all want something.
We have the new contributor to the chat. Lone Ranger 2016 says, the thing I love about Star Wars is the idea that there could be something out there in the depths of space so strong the Jedi may never be able to win against or even ever know it's out there if their paths never meet. The danger with that, and I love the concept, Lone Ranger, and I like where you're going with that, but the problem with that,
well, that's what they're
is
alluding to in the tape
Exactly.
too, about what do the Jedi feel.
right, what I don't want to have happen is all of a sudden we're going to get another Yuzon Vong, where
Right.
all of a sudden it's now a 30-book mammoth monstrosity that
I think
just
they learned their lesson a
overwhelms
bit.
the concept. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear.
If you're going to do it, you've got to be like, hit and run with it for a little bit, and then all of a sudden have a big trilogy about it, and then
Right.
go away from it. And like, it's got to be something like that. You can't have it
Yeah.
be all consuming for a decade.
Well, and it can't be. I mean, and I think of something like Doctor Who's a good comparison. Right now, we're watching the newest, or my wife and I are almost done, and I'm not going to spoil anything, but they're dealing with a threat, but it's from the same section of a same threat that has always kind of been there.
Right.
And it's like, okay, so how long do we want to do this for?
Exactly.
Can we move past that and give something else and have that be done, and then move on to something else? Is that what we're
Exactly.
saying?
Okay, I'm going to say something that'll kind of tie up the Iger and the Lucas all together.
Sure.
And it'll be a good way to end the show, I think, is that the main thing that Lucas had going against him is that he was always a one-man show, creatively speaking.
True.
He would bring other people in. They never rose to his power in the creation of ideas, right? One thing that Bob Iger and everybody below him has done is think about all the creativity that they foster. I mean, underneath Bob Iger over the last 20 years at Disney, you've got Lasseter through Pixar. Granted, Lasseter kind of left in a little bit of a disgrace, but he creatively created Pixar, the concept of Pixar, right?
Yeah.
You had Lasseter, you've got Filoni, you've got Feige, you've got Kathleen Kennedy, you've got Hidalgo, you've got all these major players that like contribute so wildly to this world without fear of losing that contribution power. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because Lucas was so afraid of losing the power of being the contributor that he never let anybody in, and therefore he became stagnant.
Right.
Whereas, even within Marvel, you got Feige that are bringing up the Russos, which are bringing up Gunn, which are bringing, it all kind of, they're all so good at fostering talent and recognizing it that I think that if they can follow that,
Yeah.
it'll be even better.
And I think the fact that writing room existed is an example of that.
A great example of that.
And it's not just a couple dudes sitting in a thing. It's like, okay, look at the talent pool we can pull from. Let's see what awesome we can get.
And more importantly, did you see how diverse that writer's room was?
Absolutely. And that's something that I think is super important right now.
There were
And-
women, there were people of color, there were, I'm sure there were gay and transgender there. I mean, they're being
Absolutely.
all inclusive.
And that's what I do love about Disney. You say what you want about Disney, but they are at the forefront of that as far as grabbing talent from
Oh, absolutely. And
everywhere.
even, hello, there have been capes in there for decades.
Oh, I love it.
All right. So I think that's a good way to wrap up the tie-in. We had a nice, fairly short show. It's a little bit longer than I think we were expecting today, just because we were kind of relaunching in, talking about what we're doing. But that's basically what the concept is going to be for a while, is that we're going to focus on one or two major stories and kind of do a little bit more of a dive in without having to say every movie that's coming out and watch all these trailers and do everything that we're trying to do before. We just don't have the time, but we still want to have our voice out there and catch these people like the new people we haven't heard before that can kind of dig our vibe, because we've known each other for 20 years.
20 years, man.
And we just have a passion for this
We've been
stuff.
doing this for 20 years.
It feels like we've been doing this.
Whether we've done the show for 20 years is irrelevant. We've been doing this having these
been.
conversations for 20
Exactly.
years, so.
Until, we got the bug from Kevin Smith to just sit down with your friends and BS.
You do it.
That's what it is. All right. So wrap it up, my friend.
All right. So thanks for tuning in to The Usual Podcast. If you have comments or questions, you can find us at theusualpodcast.com. Email us at theusualpodcast@gmail.com. And we're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Find us on all the social medias.
Exactly.
I'm at Darth Pops on Twitter. Will is at I'm Will Griggs. If you want to support the show, patreon.com/usual podcast is the best way to do that. And we also have teespring.com/store/usual podcast and audibletrial.com/usual podcast. I threw out a couple books earlier. There'll be more books coming. Audible Trial is a great way to do that and help support the show. But Patreon's obviously the best. But thank you, everybody, for joining us. And I don't know, man. What else you got? Anything?
Well, for God, love it. Have a fun.
Oh, I'm so glad you didn't drop the ball. Have a fun, and we'll see you all next week.
Peace.
I was waiting for you to blow it again.
Dude, I blew it last episode.
Twice.
Twice.
The last two. Anyway.